The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, welcome everybody, and welcome to a special mortgage coach training just for Fairway. Thanks for taking an hour out of your day. Today, you've got myself, Josh Mettle. What's up, Josh?
Good morning, Dave.
Good morning and good afternoon to those on the East Coast. And we also have Jacob, the leader of our support, training, and technology. Jacob, what's up, my man?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for bringing me on the call. Howdy, Fairway.
Hey, so guys, here's the promise. And Josh and I have prepped. We are dedicated to putting on an hour of inspirational training that if you take action from what we're going to show and what we're going to talk about, it could truly change the game for you professionally. And I am not exaggerating when I say that if you adopt Mortgage Coach with every one of your clients, it could be life-changing. It could make you have more fun in the mortgage business, and it can help you get a lot more results from the hours that you spend in the mortgage business. So stay tuned, pay attention. Do want to recommend, if you have not already, subscribe to this special Facebook private group we have just for Fairway and Mortgage Coach. There will be some homework assignments that are assigned in there. And it's also a place for you to ask questions, collaborate with each other at Fairway around Mortgage Coach. So if you have not already connected to that, make sure you ask to be invited. Just search it in Facebook, and we will, myself or Kathy B, will approve you into this group as we go through it. So make sure you connect with us there. Also, if you're on this call and you have not already signed up for Mortgage Coach, you can sign up now. You can sign up at the end of the call. Just email Kathy B at fairwaymc.com. It's only $30. Work it out with your branch manager so they take care of it. But it's super easy to do it. So we'll talk about this at the beginning, talk about it at the end, but I did want to make sure everybody on this call comes out of it as a mortgage coach. So Josh, we could go a lot of different directions with this. I want to make sure, because at stage, at Dream Big, you talked about your Four Seasons experience. So I want to make sure that we kick off the call understanding how Mortgage Coach and your perfect loan process integrates. So I am going to kick it off with that question. However, before you actually start answering it, so that we can kind of tailor how we roll, I want to push a poll to everyone. And we want to know how many total cost analysis, we call them TCAs, how many TCAs have you created? And if you answer, like, what is a TCA, that kind of clearly says, I'm not on the Mortgage Coach team yet. But again, it's an acronym for total cost analysis. And anybody who comes to my trainings, the trainings I lead, knows that I really require 70% of you to vote. I like to run a call, very informal, mastermind. And to me, the best masterminds are where everybody participates. So you don't need to jump on a video like Josh and I, and you don't need to talk, but please, at least when we ask you to vote. 60% of you have voted. Let's get as many of you as we can to vote. The question is push up, and I'm going to go ahead and share the results. So Josh, you see them. There you have it. I mean, 25%, they haven't even signed up for Mortgage Coach yet because they don't know what a TCA is. 42% have done less than 20 total cost analysis. 19% have done 20 to 100, 13%, 100 to 500. And then we have 3% who have done over 500. And folks, in case you're wondering, Josh has done over 1,000. So, and we do have a number of loan officers from Fairway that have done over 1,000. So, Josh, any comments on that before we get rolling?
Wow, that is really informative to know as we kind of tailor this conversation. It would be really cool to figure out what the volume differences are of the people in the bottom part of that chart that have done huge numbers. But anyways, we'll just have to guess at that.
Yeah, no, we've got some of those power users on this call. Andrew, what's up? Andrew, I think, is done the most mortgage coaches at Fairway. And we'll see how much time we have in the last third of the call and try to bring other leaders into the conversation. And also, we'll have time for Q&A. We have built this around having time for Q&A. So if you have a question, or if you just get a big takeaway, please put that in the questions and answer section. So Josh, let's take it from, you were on stage, you talked about Four Seasons. How does Mortgage Coach integrated into your Four Seasons experience?
Well, first of all, let's just explain what the Four Seasons experience is. And if anybody's been to the Four Seasons in Santa Barbara, California, it's a pretty amazing place. And what you feel when you come in, it's a visceral experience, meaning it's an emotional experience. It's not necessarily driven by analytics, but it makes you feel a certain way. And it's something that you remember. And it's completely different than the way you feel when you walk into a Holiday Inn or any other hotel. You can smell the salt in the air. The folks greet you like they know you and they're family friends, and then they walk you to your room, and it just has an emotional feeling that's attached to staying at that hotel. I'm guessing a lot of Four Seasons hotels are like that. They cultivate that. They've got a great training that goes around that philosophy. And that's what we tried to create on the mortgage side. You know, we've always competed against lenders that were better priced than us. So you'd have a B of A that had a particular loan program that was just unbeatable, or a Provident. And early on, we decided that that's not how we were going to compete. We were going to try and compete by creating an experience for clients. And so the way that we do that really comes down to our perfect loan process, which is something we've just recently gone back and really taken a lot of time and energy to bullet point how we do that. And the touches. One of the quotes from the Four Seasons is, we automate the ordinary and we humanize the extraordinary. So the perfect loan process was us going back to the beginning of the process. Where does the phone call come in? Where does the first email come in? And then post-close, what are the gifts and the follow-up campaign that's going to happen for them? And then benchmarking all those steps. And so a lot of those steps are automated steps. It's the CRM doing this when they get to this part in the loan process. It's 4 different physical gifts that are sent to the client throughout the process. All of the things that would create an incredible mortgage experience are in the perfect loan process. And the total cost analysis comes in at a couple of different places. Number one, it's going to come in right when we start to have the client conversation. And the second time it's going to come in is if there's any changes throughout the transaction, we're going to send an updated total cost analysis. And then again, once they go under contract. And I think we'll get in a little deeper in some of your subsequent questions, Dave, on how we position the total cost analysis and how we make sure that we have optimal open rates and how we share that with realtors as well.
Love it. Love it. So let's talk about the total cost analysis a bit. You know, what questions you ask the family so that when you provide them with the total cost analysis, it has context, it has value, because a lot of loan officers right now that don't use Mortgage Coach, you know, they're having that rate quoting conversation, that fee worksheet conversation. And I think it's important that they understand how to have the total cost analysis conversation. So if you could speak to that for everyone that's trying to go from I'm a rate quoter to I'm a total cost analysis mortgage professional, speak to that for everybody if you could.
Yeah. So part of our perfect loan process is a systematic series of questions that we ask when we get somebody on the phone. And what we're really trying to accomplish with those questions is we're trying to build rapport. We're trying to understand a little bit more about the client's goals. We're also trying to figure out what chinks in the armor are there with this client's loan. I can't remember who said it from the stage at Dream Big, but they said, I'm paraphrasing, your job as a loan originator is to find the problems with this loan before the underwriter does. And I thought that was brilliant. That's exactly what we do in our initial questions is we start to go through, what's your price range? How much down? Tell us a little bit about how you'd rate your credit. When do you want to close? Is there a new job? Is there any other changes that's happening during this period of time? A lot of our clients are relocating across the country. So the questions are, when do you need to close relevant to the start of your employment contract? We're trying to figure out all of the things that might cause a problem with this person qualifying, and that instead of having the underwriter find it, we're trying to flush that out right up front. And then it rolls into a script that's a little bit like this. We'll say, okay, well, Dave, based on what I heard you say, we really need to create a total cost analysis for you. And the reason we need to do that is it'll allow me to show you 2, 3, even 4 different options. By the way, there was one other question in there that you shared with me that we've implemented that is brilliant. So I'm going to backtrack. And that is, by when do you want to be mortgage free? Or have you thought about when you might want to be mortgage free, and maybe we should line this loan up with potential retirement or some specific date in the future? So that's one of our questions. Based on what I heard you say, Dave, I really want to create a total cost analysis for you, because it'll allow me to line up 2, 3, even 4 different potential options for you. And the beauty of the total cost analysis is not only is it going to give you interest rates and closing costs and cash to close and monthly payments, which is all totally relevant and important, but it's going to give us the ability to show you which loan option has the least amount of cost over the 5-year time horizon you told me you would be in the home. It also allows me to show you the potential equity, your departure equity, meaning how much money are you going to potentially leave with when you sell this home at the 5-year mark. So then you and I can contrast which is the lowest cost and which gives you the highest equity, and which of those are most important, and makes it ridiculously simple for you to make an informed mortgage decision. And then at that point, they say, okay, that sounds good. And we say, okay, so here's the next step. I'm going to either text you a link to our mobile app, which is awesome. I would do that if you're familiar and comfortable using mobile devices, or I can email you a link to our client questionnaire. Either way, you'll take just about 10 minutes, complete the client questionnaire, and then I will send you the total cost analysis to review. Once you've reviewed it, you and I will schedule a 15-minute call.
Love it. So pretty straightforward. I want to remind folks, we will answer your questions. So if you heard that, but yet you have a question, because we're here to make change, helping you go from rate, quote, fee worksheet conversation to total cost analysis conversation. So, I mean, I think, first of all, everyone on this call, to build the mortgage coach habit, you have to kind of believe in the concept that I want to deliver an extraordinary experience. I want to have the maximum conversion rate that I possibly can. Because if that is not like a burning desire and a need for you, well, then you don't need to do mortgage coach. You know, I mean, you have to say, I want to deliver the highest quality service, and I want to get the best conversion. And if you have that why, we're going to show you how to do that. So I want to connect the dots for everyone. Make sure you realize this is the competition of the mortgage coach mission, that when a family gets a mortgage, they get a fee worksheet. It's not shareable. It's not educational. It doesn't show them how to pay off their home faster. Doesn't show them how to build wealth with real estate. It doesn't show them the cost of waiting. Like, hey, what if I wait 6 months to buy my first home versus buy it now? Fee worksheet doesn't do that. Or let's say it's a move-up buyer. Should I buy now or should I buy next year? Fee worksheet doesn't solve that problem. Should I pay monthly MI versus annual MI? Fee worksheet doesn't solve that problem. So Mortgage Coach solves that problem and helps you out so that you can stop selling like it's 2007. And by the way, I don't say that to insult anybody, but if you're not delivering Mortgage Coach and you're delivering a fee worksheet, how different is your consumer experience versus 2007 if you're delivering a fee worksheet? It's not that different. So this is a first-time home buyer where if Josh was helping this client, he would have sent her a link. She clicks on it. She clicks on it from an Android device. She gets the Android experience. She clicks on it from an iOS. She gets an Apple experience. She clicks on it from her desktop. She gets a desktop experience. And by the way, if people are non-technical, you can print it out, and it's awesome. So this is what it looks like when you go into a Mortgage Coach loan officer. By the way, Josh, did you want to say something there?
You mentioned You mentioned the upfront mortgage insurance versus a monthly, and one place where this is just ridiculously powerful is if you have that borrower that has the lower FICO scores, and you can show a monthly mortgage insurance premium versus a split premium mortgage insurance. And if any of you guys aren't using split premiums in your quotes, when you have somebody below like a 720 credit score, such a game changer. I mean, you can just crush the competition, because instead of the competition's MI is $400 a month, your MI is $200 a month. So that's such a game changer. And you can show here's monthly, here's upfront, here's 2 split premiums, and you will win 100% of the time if you're competing against another lender who's just showing a monthly mortgage insurance premium.
So it's little things like that that separate the best from the rest. And Josh, 2 things. One, could you forward us a link of a TCA example, not now during the call live, but after the call? And if you're watching this on a recording, we'll put the link below. So if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a link to that total cost analysis experience below, and some other homework assignments that we're going to make throughout the call. But this is what it looks like if you're a mortgage coach meeting with a family in a coffee shop. And again, it's not about the app and the technology. It's about the story and strategy. So you're just using the total cost analysis as a prop to have a better conversation with the family. And then, by the way, to keep the story going so that, like, after they've left you, they've got your story, your strategy in the palm of their hand, in their purse, in their pocket. And now when rates change or they see a new home, it's updating. So this is what we're proposing. This is a mortgage coach, Fairway loan officer, Scott Cummings, meeting with a realtor at a coffee shop, explaining the cost of waiting analysis. So this is what we want you to, this is the how. This is how we want to help you achieve success with Mortgage Coach. With that said, I'm going to hand it off to Jacob. And Jacob is going to show you how easy and fast you can create a total cost analysis. And again, remember everybody, we will have time for Q&A, and we will also have time for more scripts. And we're also going to talk about how Josh integrates Mortgage Coach into his referral partner conversations. So Jacob, if you want to take the screen and walk us through how to create a TCA within the Fairway workflow.
All right, great. Thanks, Dave. Can you confirm you're seeing my screen, please? All right, awesome. So I'm going to start in Optimal Blue, which is where you're going to land if you send over a pricing request from your origination system. And this should look familiar to you. This is where you set your variables for what you'd like to look for. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you just a really quick process to send a single loan over, and then we're going to fill out some details, and we're going to use the copy button. So this is going to be pretty much the fastest approach you can use to creating your first TCA. Now, a lot of this information will be filled in for you. There might be some other things like DTI that you'll need to put in here if it doesn't get passed over. But you'll select the appropriate type of loans that you're looking for, and then hit submit. And this is going to search for your pricing. Now, once that comes back, you want to search for the relevant option for you. In this case, it looks like I'm going to choose this 3.75, and I can get a little bit more of a rebate on that top one. So I'm just going to click that coach button right there, and I'm going to hit the mortgage coach button. Now, very important, when this comes up, it's going to show you a preview of the presentation. And you're going to notice that this presentation is not complete yet. It has one single loan. It does have your investor name on it. So we need to go in there and we need to get rid of it. So next step is to log into Mortgage Coach. So all I did is I went to edge.mortgagecoach.com and I logged into Mortgage Coach. And if we bring back up our sample here, you notice this one's called Training Borrower. And give me just a second here and do some magic on the back end. And let me sign out and back in, and I'm going to retrieve your templates. All right, so my training borrower, if I go to view all, I can actually search for the name borrower here. And it's going to bring up the record that was just passed over. And you can see there it is right there. I can now click on the record and open the analysis for editing. Now, pretty important, it does bring over some basic contact information, and as you continue through, you'll notice that some of the goals are going to be filled out for you. But the most important thing is really to get to the products, because these are the ones you're going to compare. So this is the product that was passed over from Optimal Blue. I'm just going to change the name here to remove my investor name there. You can see this is just a conforming 30 fixed. Then you'll notice it also brought over the rebate. So this is here. This is actually enough of a rebate that's going to offset my closing costs. If it's pretty minimal, most times people just get rid of it. If it's, a couple bucks. But in this case, I'm going to leave it in there because I do want it to offset my closing costs. And I'm going to go into the detail. Now, you'll notice in the account I'm in right now, I've got some predefined templates in here. These are branch templates. If you would like to have branch templates specific to your branch, send an email to templates@mortgagecoach.com. and CC your branch manager because we're going to need their help to determine the fee structures, and our team will reach out to schedule time with you so that we can get templates in here specifically for you. Now, by default, all of you have one template in there called Fairway Bulk Fees. And you'll notice it's pretty easy here. All you have to do is look at your loan estimate inside the origination system and literally copy and paste the fee totals here. So let's say 2,100 in APR fees, 1,200 in non-APRs. I'm actually going to leave prepaid reserves out because I'm going to show you a cool way to do that. If there was contributions you're expecting, you could put them in there as well. But once you're done, simply hit apply to loan and you're going to continue forward. Now finally, we want to make sure and represent our taxes and insurance. So I'm just going to put in some factor percentages here. And this one's at 80%, so no MI, but this is the part I was telling you about the reserves. Because I put the taxes and insurance in here, I can actually earmark the number of months I need. So 3 months of hazard insurance, maybe 6 months of taxes, and then I want an annual premium. And now that I've got one product created, it's very simple to create more. So for this one, I'm simply going to use this copy button. I'm going to copy that one that I already did. And let's say we want to show them a different price point. Say maybe we want to show them 380 here. Because I used the copy button, all my fees came over. I don't have to worry about those. My taxes and insurance are already there. And if we were to actually jump back to the preview that Optimal Blue had produced for us, we're going to see that it has started filling this in. So I just need to make sure and give that a product name. I probably should have done that right before I copied, but let's say 30 fixed at 380. Now notice that when I priced out the loan, I actually priced it out at the highest possible one, and then my copies are all going to be lower loan amounts. The reason is I want to make sure they qualify for DTI purposes. But finally, the last step on here, and I'm sure that Dave and Josh will echo this, is make sure you put a quote date on here. Anytime you're publishing a rate, you want to tie it to a date, and then you got to put a video on it. Video is so important to this because if you send this out without a video, it's subject to your client's interpretation. You want to make sure that you're offering your guidance on this, and most importantly, at the end of the video, a call to action so you can get on the phone with them. So just hit add audio video. This is going to bring open a preview of the presentation. You'll notice it's exactly the same as what we were looking at from the one that came out of OB. And all I need to do here is hit record message. And there I am. Hi, everybody. And then I usually like to drag this to the top of the screen. Make sure to remember your record button is your start and stop button. So hit record. Take your hands off the mouse. Hi, Mr. Borrower. Wanted to show you these two options that we discussed. You notice that I've shown you a 380 and a 400. You indicated 400 was your price range, but we want to make sure we incorporate all the possibilities for your goals here. You'll notice I've set a midterm goal at 5 years. You had indicated that your son's going to be going to high school in 5 years. If you click on the more info behind the midterm there, you're going to see what your equity position is there. And that's going to help you understand where you're at in the loan process when this life change is going to happen. Now, you're going to have lots of questions when you're done viewing this, so make sure to give me a call as soon as you finish here. I'd be happy to explain this, and we can even look at other options. In fact, we can even show you how to be debt-free a little bit faster. Call me as soon as you're done with this.
Hey, Jacob.
Thank you very much.
Jacob?
Yes, Dave.
Jacob, real quick. So first of all, you're doing a great job. I want to remind folks, if you have questions, let us know. But Josh, if you could right here, Jacob just showed the video feature. Speak to some of your scripting within the video, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, the first thing that I have changed recently is in the bottom section, typically where it says interest and MI paid in 15 years, we're moving that over to equity in 10 years. So if somebody says, hey, I'm going to be in the home somewhere between 5 and 10 years, which is probably the most typical answer, then I'm changing long-term to 10, right where Jacob is there. I'm switching in the bottom right-hand corner to total net worth. For Utah, I'm anticipating a 4% appreciation rate, and that's going to vary depending on where you are. And then even for the short-term analysis, I'm clicking that usually over to 84 months. You should just be able to click into that rate and type in 4.
I'm actually not able to right now, Josh. I'm on a little bit different keyboard setup. Yeah.
Got it.
Keyboard.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oops, too far.
That's okay. Just anything in that range is totally fine. Yep. And then my scripting, now when you actually look at the TCA, you've got that first lien 5-year cost. Do you mind just highlighting that on the left, Jacob? Right below that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the 5-year cost. So then my scripting is something like, you know, Dave, thanks so much for your time on the phone. I appreciate you completing the client questionnaire. And based on what I heard you say, I put together this total cost analysis, giving you 2 different options. And the 3 data points I really want you to sink your teeth into. Number 1, in the top left-hand summary section, I've compared the cost of each of these loans over 5 years. So that's really important for you not to think in terms of an APR, because you're not going to be in the home for 30 years, but to think in terms of what your cost is for the time horizon you're going to be there. So we compared those costs there at 5 years. I also took the liberty in the right-hand side in the center to compare the cost of those 2 loans over 7 years, because again, you said 5 to 10, so I'm trying to give you a little bit of the difference in what those interest and total cost savings might be over that time horizon. And maybe the most important scenario here for us to think about is your equity position. So I'd love you to click into the More Info tab in the bottom right-hand section where it shows you your net worth in 10 years, and it'll give you a little more granular detail. But I'd love to recap that with you on the phone. Again, there's 4 more info tabs here in the presentation. I'd encourage you to click into each of those 4 more info tabs and then give me a call once you've had a moment or 2 to review. If there's an agent involved in this transaction, either at the beginning or the end, always nice to end with a little plug. By the way, really glad to have the opportunity to work with you and Sue Benson. She's an absolute sweetheart, although she's a tiger when she negotiates, and it's just phenomenal experience every time I work with her. So looking forward to that, and please feel free to give me a call as soon as you've done a review of the total cost analysis.
Love that. And by the way, everyone, do you think your realtor partner or whoever it was that your referral partner was would like it if this is how you delivered mortgage advice to your clients? Do you think you'd be different? Do you think you'd be more valuable, and they'd be more loyal to you? You know, absolutely. And by the way, one last thought: do you think you'd get a better conversion so that when someone gave you a referral, you're giving this advice, it's dynamic, it's more efficient? And then last thing, if you could speak to it, because I hear all the time from loan officers that say, "Oh, it's extra work. It takes me more time to do a total cost analysis." What do you say to those loan officers, Josh?
To set up the initial total cost analysis as compared to just doing a fee worksheet out of Encompass, they're right. But here's the problem. Nobody does just one fee worksheet. They do an initial fee worksheet, then the client does some house hunting, and then they want to say, well, what about the USDA loan? Well, what about the FHA loan? And so then they recalibrate. And then they go under contract, and now you have an actual deal, and so they want to see it again. And then the appraisal comes in low, and so then you got to shoot them renumbers for that. So by the time you've gone through the transaction, you may have sent out 6 different changes in the transaction. Those are infinitely more simple if you're creating those changes and comparisons inside of a TCA, because all I have to do is take, oh, well, I already sent you the conventional LPMI, which I know is the best option for you. But now you want to see FHA, and now you want to see monthly mortgage insurance. Copy, change the interest rate, take out the mortgage insurance. Your TCA is in your inbox. It's so you'll make it up in spades just on a time basis by the number of recalibrating the analysis throughout the transaction. Oh, and by the way, I can do it from my cell phone. Right? So all I'm doing, I don't have to be in Encompass. All I have to do is go into my cell phone, launch my app, and then create the copies right there live time. Okay, launch your app. I updated that and showed you those other 2 options. Call me with questions.
Boom. And so now, by the way, folks, the first time.
You lost your audio, Dave.
Dave, we definitely lost your audio. It's not coming through for anybody on our side.
Yeah. I think it took you, what was it, about 12 total cost analysis till you're like, okay, I get it. I could do it fast now. I could see the value in it. Was that, from my memory, is that about right in terms of your story, Josh?
Yeah, I struggled for the first 8, 9, somewhere around 9 or 10 or 11, somebody forwarded my total cost analysis to their CPA, and then their CPA replied back with something like, "This is totally awesome. Can you get this technology for CPAs? This video technology for CPAs? Is this video technology available for CPAs?" And then the client responded back and said, "My CPA said I should go with you. And by the way, he wants to know if we can get the same technology for CPAs." And and it might have been a financial advisor, I can't remember. But it was that moment where I clicked and said, okay, now I get the value. And it was about 12 where all of a sudden it wasn't that much longer for me to create a TCA than it was to do a detailed fee analysis. It was, it was like an extra 60 seconds or an extra 2 minutes. And at that point, it's negligible. But the first 12 were a little rough.
And how fast can you do one now? Like how much time, or you or your assistant, however you're currently doing your process, how much time?
I have a video that you and I did where we did one in 5 minutes. And obviously that was, I didn't have a ton of minor details in there, but realistically 5 to 10 minutes is tops. And that's if it's really detailed, and that's video included. But I can do it in 5 minutes with a video included. We've done it. It's on YouTube, and it's a great TCA.
Love it. So Jacob, what else do you think we need to show to ensure everybody kind of has how to create a mortgage coach within a Fairway workflow?
Well, I think it's really important to echo a little bit about what Josh was saying there, the dynamic nature of the total cost analysis. When you send somebody a link to that presentation, the link doesn't change for that borrower, for that presentation. So as Josh was saying, if you wanted to go back in and update something, whether you're doing it from the mobile app like I'm showing right here, or maybe you're just jumping straight back into the editor in the browser and making changes to rates, maybe adding additional products and so forth, that link stays the same. So you can send it back out to your borrower, or they can actually just open their app and click on the last link that they got from you, and it will show the more up-to-date information. Now, we do have a question actually from one of the people on the chat in here. Question for Josh. When updating the TCA, do you overwrite the existing one or duplicate and make changes? I've had borrowers want to reference back to what I first sent them. Just wondering what your strategy is on this. Thank you.
It depends if they want multiple new options. So if they say, now give me the 30, the 20, and the 15, then I'm not going to leave the original 30. I'm going to update today's rates, today's whatever we're doing. I'm going to give them a new 30 and a 20. If I'm mid-refinance and the appraisal comes in low, I'm going to show the initial, and then I'm going to copy over, and I'm going to show, here's the effect that the low appraisal had. Now you're coming in with an extra $3,000.
Excellent. Thanks, Josh.
Love that. Love the questions. Keep them coming. I do want to unmute Andrew Stotterborn. Andrew, I've unmuted you. Are you in a place where you could chat real quick?
I am, yeah.
Hey, Andrew. So by the way, everybody, Andrew is #1 mortgage coach at Fairway. No one's created more total cost analysis than Andrew. So congrats on that, and thank you for the leadership over there. Again, you've been on this call. You've heard the conversation so far. Is there anything you'd like to add that you think might be helpful to the Fairway crew?
Well, I think I'd just reiterate how much it's about advice. It's not the price game. If we're not adding the value, then, we shouldn't be expecting to have different results. And so I call our competition golden retrievers. And so, if a borrower comes in and says, I want a 30-year fix at this rate or whatever, and you just go and fetch it, that's all you are. You're a golden retriever to them. But if you're the advisor, if you're showing them different options, and so what are those? All they want is a 30-year fixed. Well, show them a 30-year fixed even at different price points. Show them a 30-year fixed on an FHA, even if they're going to go conventional, because otherwise they might later say, hey, how come you never showed me this? How come, I had this other lender tell me about this, and FHA loans are lower on the rate. Well, I didn't show you that because, the mortgage insurance is a lot more expensive. Well, if you don't show it up front, they're not going to know, and you're going to lose some borrowers that way. But instead, if you show them different cost structures, for example, I do a lot of my loans as no-cost loans, even on purchases, just because of the premium that you can get today and the time frame that really takes to recover is so long. So I say, hey, if you got that much money, put more of a down payment, and we'll pay your closing costs for you. Take a little bit higher rate, but that's going to take you 12 years to recover. You told me you're only going to live there for 5 to 10 years. So that's one strategy, Dave, that I use a lot.
I love it. How long does it take you or your team to create a total cost analysis? Just a feel for the amount of input preparation. What do you guesstimate that at?
It really isn't that long if the borrower situation is pretty vanilla. I do a lot of investment properties, and for those, I'm using second mortgage options and those kind of things, and they do take a little bit longer. But I would say in general, it's going to be 10 minutes. Really, that's it. Now, I will say, Dave, and I know that you're saying, hey, if you do a couple of these, well, it is going to take a couple. The first few you're going to do, it's going to take a lot longer than 10 minutes. But if you stick with it and you keep doing these, it's going to get very easy to do them very quick. And I only give I do what Jacob did, and I do the bulk fees because I think most people aren't looking to get really detailed in on this. And if they are, then we give them the pre-application worksheet. But other than that, we're just trying to summarize. This is what it's going to look like in comparison to these other options, and this is what I would do.
Love it. So folks, for 5 to 10 minutes per file, and again, it's not an incremental 5 to 10 minutes because you're already having to respond with an email. You're already having to do some preparation. To Josh's point, when you look at the life cycle of a prospect, there's a net savings of time, and then there's a 2x, 3x, maybe even a 10x increase in sales and marketing impact. Josh, do you have any questions for Andrew? Anything that you'd like to know in terms of how he uses Mortgage Coach before we keep moving on to some of the other questions that we have?
No, but I think you nailed it, and you just taught me something. I haven't been doing very many, if any, no cost, and I think that's a huge glowing error. So thank you. That was awesome. And super simple to do once you've created an analysis to copy over and show a no cost. The one thing he mentioned about the golden retriever, I thought that was brilliant. And there's a famous marketer named Dan Kennedy. He's written tons of books called the No BS series, and he said there's 2 core covenants or tenets of marketing. And number 1, you want to become the expert. And number 2, you have to weave your personality into your marketing. You can't be boring. You have to connect with people in some level. And I was going to close with that, but Andrew made such a great point about, the competition is golden retrievers. And exactly what he's saying is I want to differentiate myself as far as humanly possible from the golden retrievers. And we do that through becoming the expert, teaching somebody something, anticipating their needs and what analysis they may want, like an FHA, even if we know that's not the best thing for them, but we want to just educate them. And then if you can do that with a twist of personality, if you can make somebody laugh in your TCA, home run, right? If you get them to laugh and you teach them something, 100% conversion rate. There's no chance that person's not going to do business with you.
Love it. Mm-hmm. So I want to make sure we cover another strategic point before we close out with some action items and some homework. So one, can you guys confirm you can see my screen?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. So one, if you're a branch manager on this, I want to make sure you know that you have a mobile scorecard, because I'm sure if you're a branch manager, you want your team to do more loans. And there's no better way to get your team to do more loans than make sure they're delivering a total cost analysis. So you should be able to log into the app. And I'm logging in as Sarah. I'm seeing all of Fairway. But if you were a branch manager and you logged in and you went to the mobile scorecard, you would just see your loan officers and how many total cost analysis they've created. So I want to make sure there's some awareness on this call. I even recommend to all you loan officers on this call that you were watching this and you're like, this is better. I want to take action. Tell your branch manager, hold me accountable, remind me, send out, we made it really easy so that literally this little mobile scorecard can be text, email, if your branch manager won't hold you accountable, find someone that will. Your professional coach, you guys have an amazing coaching organization. And I had a great meeting with Kevin when I was at the Dream Big event. Have your coach hold you accountable to creating this habit. So again, for anybody who has not already signed up for Mortgage Coach, it's it's Kathy B at fairwaymc.com. Just send her an email. It's only $30 a month. We'll get you rolling. So one last piece, and I would love Josh to hear your take on this, and if you could turn on your camera when you do it. And then Andrew, I'm gonna also listen to how Josh answers it. I want to ask the same question of you, but how do you integrate the fact that you deliver a total cost analysis with your referral partners, whether that's a realtor or a financial planner? What does that conversation sound like so that they realize you're not an average loan officer that's just quoting rates and fees? You're a mortgage coach that's providing solutions. What's that sound like, Josh?
Are you saying what's the script to the realtor, or how does it get integrated in the process? Both?
Why don't you do both? Realize we do only have about 18 minutes, and I do want to get to a couple cute questions at the end, but answer it. I want to make sure they get a script, but whatever color you want to bring around that.
Yep.
And then Andrew, when it comes to you, just hit the script. What is your scripting?
Okay, so I'll tell you how it works in our process. So lead comes in from the agent. Agent wants to know what's your follow-up, what's going on. So of course we're updating them as we're doing reaching out to those clients. And you get to know your realtors. Some of them want to be CC'd or BCC'd on everything, and some don't. But I'm always BCCing them on the total cost analysis. And in most instances, I will text them afterwards and just say, hey, connected with the client. We have the client questionnaire. Looks solid. I BCC'd you on the total cost analysis if you want to see what the loan options look like. And as a side caveat to that, 100% of the time, I'm also texting the client as soon as we send the total cost analysis, because the buildup in my initial call was, based on what I heard you say and your unique situation with your credit score, I really want to show you that total cost analysis so we make sure we find the loan that has the least cost and the greatest amount of equity potential. So since I've built that up, the minute the total cost analysis goes up, Dave, total cost analysis is in your inbox, great insight in there. Call me once you've had a chance to review. So that's how it fits in, and I'm using multiple media to get the desired result. Email, total cost analysis, text the follow-up to drive to the action.
Love it. Love it. And Andrew, how do you integrate the fact that you're a mortgage coach into your partner conversation? How would you answer that?
Yeah, I mean, simply we carbon copy them on all the emails that have the total cost analysis. But really, I went into that I'm doing a lot of investment properties, and so what we're showing a lot of our borrowers who are putting substantial down payments is, hey, what if you actually just put 20% down and then went and bought an investment property instead? And when you do that and they say, yeah, oh, that looks great, I never thought about buying an investment property, well, then you're actually referring the realtor business. And I can tell you, just, I have one client that it was just simply, he said, hey, I don't need a mortgage. I just need you for a little bit of time until I sell the house. Once I sell the house, I'm going to pay off, the mortgage, don't need you anymore. And I just simply went into, well, what does your retirement look like? How are you doing? And those kind of questions that Josh was talking about. And we ended up, helping him buy 4 rental properties over the last 5 years. And obviously that realtor would have never had those transactions. So every time that she refers me now, she says, make sure that Andrew gives you one of those things that, shows you all those different options. She doesn't call it a total cost analysis. I'll train her on that, but it is integrated for my main partners, that they know that high level touch that we're going to give, and they talk about it when they're referring people.
That's awesome.
Love it. So guys, we got 15 minutes left. Let's help everybody take action. So one thing to help everybody take action is I pulled up on my screen our calendar of events. So, we're dedicated to your success, to the point that we have, you can email support@Mortgage Coach. We have live chat from our website, or when you're within the Mortgage Coach platform, there's a place for you to have a live chat with us. And every single day of the week, we have live training. So if you've done less than 20 total cost analysis and you haven't been through the Monday training, Monday, 9 o'clock, go to that. Also, it's recorded. Every single Tuesday, I'm trying to put on the best sales meeting in the entire mortgage industry. Whether I'm interviewing a Todd Duncan, Simon Sinek, Darren Hardy, or one of the best loan officers in America from Fairway, like Josh. How many times have I had Josh on that call? And other Fairway leaders. I'm interviewing someone. And actually, this Tuesday, I'm interviewing one of America's best loan officers, Joe Paluzzi. He was one of those loan officers that, was number one at his company. And they said, Joe will never use Mortgage Coach. And by the way, we were at that company for years. Joe didn't use Mortgage Coach. But this year, Joe started using Mortgage Coach, and we're going to interview him. And again, this is a guy doing, over $100 million in business, one of the top loan officers, and why 2017, he decided, one, I need to use it, and two, it's a habit. And I'm interviewing someone like that all the time. Every single Wednesday, we're doing mobile training. Every single Thursday, we're doing technical training. So think of this as just a place that you can come and learn to use Mortgage Coach, and there's someone that can answer questions for you. And by the way, it's recorded. And then every single Friday at 9 o'clock, I'm doing Productivity Mastermind with Todd Bookspan, another Fairway leader. And it's just a mastermind. We're there to help you make more money in less time. That is the theme of the call, by getting more out of your day and more out of you. So just, there is live training every single day of the week. Also, I'm going to give you guys a couple of homework assignments. This is the easiest one, 5 minutes, where Josh created a video and he's just talking to a client or a partner on what is a total cost analysis and why a total cost analysis. It's 4 minutes and 52 seconds. You have to watch it. It will be educational. Also, one of my favorite calls and one of the most viewed interviews I did this year was with Jeremy Foresee, whale, top professional, doing over 130 million in annual production. It's 15 minutes, and it's the 5 questions that he asks realtors when he's meeting with them, and how he integrates the total cost analysis into that realtor meeting. 15 minutes. So far, you're 20 minutes into your homework. By the way, did someone say something?
Gold. That is one of the best videos I've ever watched on how to communicate with realtors. That thing is amazing.
Yeah, no, it is one of the all-time best calls. And then, by the way, if you want to get 10 plus hours of coaching and mentoring from our one and only Josh Mettle, we've created a playlist called Josh Mettle Sales Training. Check it out, Josh. I think it's probably the first time you're seeing this. It has the call when Josh was 6 months into using Mortgage Coach, where I think you were at maybe 200 TCAs. Maybe you were just north of 100, but it was like scripts that you had established, that you had learned. And then again, I've interviewed Josh a lot. He's such a good inspirational trainer and leader. And then, one of the all-time, I can't think of a higher rated call. Like literally, I think it's like you and Simon Sinek went neck to neck in terms of the highest rated calls at Mortgage Coach. And this is just a couple weeks where Josh was on he was a guest on our Friday Mastermind, and he talked about the 5 traits of the millionaire mortgage professional. Josh, by the way, thank you for that, brother. Huge gift to the community. And then anybody that is a new loan officer, if you want to accelerate your success, or if anybody on this call knows someone who's a new loan officer, forward them this playlist. It's the new loan officer playlist for Mortgage Coach. I would say that even if you're not a new loan officer and you have not watched every video on this list, there is something here for you. And by the way, Josh, would you agree? Because, that's one thing I love about you, even though you are at the peak of success in our industry, you learn all the time. Any comments on this particular playlist or some of the Mortgage Coach YouTube videos?
I just find it almost funny how much I've learned looking back through these different, because I've watched every single one of these videos and I've taken little pieces of all of these superstars videos and we've tried to implement them into our game. But there's so much value here that it's unbelievable. One of the things I shared previously is, I went to the YouTube channel that you can see right there for Mortgage Coach. And then from within inside that, if you're on your mobile device, you've got that little button that's like the square with the little squiggly line that goes down. You can just click on that button and you can save that YouTube channel right to your iPhone or whatever your mobile device is. And then every time you're in the car or every time you're out taking a walk, you just click on the Mortgage Coach YouTube video and you can play that and watch it while you're traveling. And it's just been a great reminder for me. And I don't think there's a video you're showing anywhere up there that I haven't watched. And it's been a pleasure learning from all these folks.
Yeah. In fact, I think this video right here, it's in our Skype interview unedited playlist. It's from a couple weeks ago. You actually showed how you did that. So by the way, if anybody wants to know what Josh did and how he did it, there's another 19-minute homework assignment. And by the way, I'm going to put links to these in the Fairway Facebook group. So I will, for each one of these homework assignments, I'm going to put one link. And then I would love for you to, one, if you've watched it, like it, so we kind of know how many people actually watched it. Think of it as like, I'm checking it off the list. I watched it. And then if you had a takeaway or something, put it in the comments, play it forward to the Fairway crew. Remember, this is your Facebook group. It's Mortgage Coach Fairway Facebook group. If there was a takeaway, play it forward in that Facebook group. And we are at 7 minutes left. Jacob, the king of execution. Two things, Jacob, for you. One, is there anything we haven't covered that we need to cover to help people take action? And then two, are there any questions you see that you think we should field right now?
Thanks, Dave. Actually, yeah, there's a couple of questions in our box right now asking about the questionnaire that Josh had referenced. Is that a Fairway questionnaire that would be available in the marketing channel, or is that something that's personal to you?
So we call our application a client questionnaire. And we just got that because we deal with a lot of doctors and dentists. And when you walk into a doctor's office, they say, fill out this questionnaire. So when they walk into our office, we say, fill out this questionnaire. If that's what they're talking about, that's a loan application. The series of questions that we ask to a client, I'm happy to send them to you. We just call them our physician questions, but it's like total make sense stuff. But I can send that to Dave, no problem.
Well, actually, if you or someone on your team could add it to the Facebook group, just make a post, attach a document, and throw it out there. And by the way, there's so many amazing people in the Fairway community. If he's going to post that question. If either one, you have a question to add to the list, add it in comments. Or two, if you have a client questionnaire that helps you have a more strategic conversation with a family, put it out there. Because, at the end of the day, one of the struggles I see loan officers having when they go from fee worksheet, application taker, problem solver, loan officer to Mortgage Coach, it's just how to get a little more strategic at the front end. And by the way, it doesn't mean you need to add 20 minutes to the conversation. Sometimes the conversation is actually more efficient and it's less. And sometimes it's 2 or 3 minutes. But there's this, I think, to be a total cost analysis loan officer, you need to be a little more intentional and a little more strategic in leading a client through a process. So put some thoughts into that and please collaborate on the Facebook group. Jacob, any other questions or anything from you?
I would say also don't forget, look out in your emails. We are having a scripting workshop specific for Fairway on October 16th, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central. Wally Elberry and Drake Blowbaum are going to be there. They're going to be providing scripts for you, and it's definitely going to be a don't miss call. So when you see that coming through your email, make sure to sign up. If for some reason you don't get that invitation, just email our support team, support@mortgagecoach.com, and we can get you the invite. And then, of course, I'll reiterate, for those of you who would like to have branch-specific templates, you can email templates@mortgagecoach.com. Make sure to CC your branch manager. If you are the branch manager, awesome. Just shoot us a note. Hey, I'm the BM. I want to get this done. And, we'll set up time with you. We'll make sure to reach out, and we'll get you just some good templates in there. We'll get you a purchase and a refi for your 4 main types of product offerings. And it should get you well on your way to making this a habit, and certainly making it a lot faster for you.
Yeah. And what Jacob just said, again, if you don't understand what he said, just email templates. You need help. Make sure you are either a branch manager or a delegate to the branch manager. Make sure you have their support. But I also want to just remind every mortgage coach loan officer out there, one of the biggest shortcuts is when you can learn, one, how to effectively use templates, and two, the copy feature, where it's like, hey, let's say I just helped a family with FHA versus conventional, and I spent 10 minutes on it. And now I have another family that's kind of a similar situation. Just grab the Jones file, copy it, create the Smith file, and all you have to do is update the loan amount and the interest rate, and you're ready to go. So learning how to use templates in the copy feature, write that down. I need to learn how to do that. Again, you can go to our support page also. I want to remind everybody, take an action with Mortgage Coach. Go to Member Services, Client Support. There's chat. And think of this as Google for Mortgage Coach. Like if there's ever a question, how do I do an FHA TCA? Type it in, FHA TCA. How do I do MI? Again, there's no question in Mortgage Coach land that someone else hasn't asked before. So think of our support page as Google for Mortgage Coach. Just put it in search, ask a question. And like I said, if you need, a little more one-on-one support, click here in the bottom right-hand corner, our support icon, ask questions and engage with us there. That is the fastest way to get service and support. Josh, anything else? We're 2 minutes left. Any parting thoughts or words of wisdom for the folks on today's call?
Well, I think that next training with Drake and Wally, 2 of my very favorite loan officers in the world, both people that I could learn an absolute ton from. That is a do not miss. Those 2 are absolute rock stars. I'll just close, if I could, with a quote that fits into the why we do total cost analysis as a team. It's a Jim Rohn quote of mine that I've said before in interviews with you, Dave, but it is to the core of my thinking. And Jim Rohn has this beautiful quote. He says, "Success is not something you pursue. Success is someone you become and attract success." So it's not the pursuit of success, it's the becoming of the person who is worthy of success. And I know I slaughtered his quote, sorry. But that process of building these total cost analysis, you're actually becoming a better loan officer. You're actually giving better advice. And as you become a better loan officer and give better advice, then you start attracting more success. It comes from the client CPA. It comes from their financial advisor. It becomes from the agent who clicks on there and says, he just said Sue Benson is a sweetheart and a tiger negotiator. I'm going to send Josh more business. So become the person who attracts success, build TCAs.
Love that. And last 2 things, one more homework assignment. I just realized Jenny Stoner is Fairway loan officer. I knew that. And we did a contest for the past week. Josh kind of started it with, what is a total cost analysis? And Jenny won. So we had 22 submissions of videos, and Jenny was voted by the judges as the #1 video. So that is posted here in the Facebook group. If you watch it, give us a like so we know that you guys are watching it. And also give Jenny, some kudos, make a comment, let Jenny know what you thought of it. But this is a super compelling video that Jenny has already got leads from. She made this video, she posted it on Facebook, she's already got leads. And then this Friday, we're going to focus the Friday productivity call on how to make better videos that turn you into a lead magnet. So, you know, how do you as a mortgage coach make a 1 to 2 minute video that actually gets you leads with people saying, I want my total cost analysis. If you want to learn how to do that, check us out this Friday, 9 o'clock Pacific. I'll be there. We're going to have some of the judges from the contest. Todd Bookspan will be there. Josh, you know, if you can't make it, you might want to invite someone from your team or listen to the recording because it's gonna rock. All right, guys, this is a wrap. Let us know what you thought of the training on a scale of 1 through 5, 5 being excellent. Did we exceed your expectations? And hey, if we need improvement, let us know. We can take it. We're gamers. Jacob, thanks for everything you did on this call. And Josh, as always, you knocked it out of the park. And Andrew Stoddebourne, you the man, bro. Thank you for leading the way with Mortgage Coach at Fairway. Take care, everybody.